of the stuff on my desk embodies in a holistic way what I do for a living in a way that I would lose if I took the individual documents off and stuffed them into separate files. Now think for a moment about what you would do if you lived in a pre-literate society and you had a bunch of information you wanted to control. Well, what you do is something like this. You write the Iliad. You take what it is you know about the world and you tell a story about it. You're not analyzing your information into categories. You're not sorting things into boxes. What you're doing is exactly the opposite. You're taking together a bunch of disparate ideas and you're incorporating them into one narrative so that you can remember it, so that you can express what's going on. I like to think of this as integrative document representation. This is a real alternative to what we were talking about before. You see, before we talked about taking a bunch of documents and sorting them into boxes. Now we want to take a bunch of documents and get not a diffusion of sources, but a collection. We want to bring things together. Don't take the collection apart, put it together. Learn the whole literature, not just a part of the literature. And this is what happens in real life. This is what almost all of the rest of the world thinks of as the way that you incorporate and use information. This is what happens in literature. And also what happens in history. What's the business of a historian? A historian takes a bunch of documents, a bunch of primary sources, reads them, analyzes them, and works them into a single story. Tells you a tale that you cannot know for yourself unless you've looked at the individual documents, but you never have to look at the individual documents again. That's what the historian is doing for you. They're storytellers. That's what scientists do. Scientists don't use libraries very much, but it's not because they don't use information, it's because they have an entirely different way of interacting with their information. That is, if you're at the research front, if you're at the cutting edge of some area of science, then occasionally you need to go to the journal literature and you need to read things. Although you probably, if you're really at the research front, people send you the documents that you're going to need to know about without actually having to read them in journals. As for graduate students and other love life. The point is,